إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال الله تبارك وتعالى شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان وعن سلمان رضي الله عنه قال خطبنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في آخر يوم من شعبان قال يا أيها الناس قد أظلكم شهر عظيم مبارك شهر فيه ليلة خير من 1000 شهر شهر جعل الله صيامه فريضة وقيام ليله تطوعا من تقرب فيه بخصلة من الخير كان كمن أدى فريضة فيما سواه ومن أدى فريضة فيه كان كمن أدى 70 فريضة فيما سواه صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد عدد ما ذكره الذاكرون وصل على سيدنا مولانا محمد عدد ما غفل عن ذكره الغافلون اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. My respected brothers and sisters and honorable elders, the month of Ramadan, the chief of all months, the greatest of all months, is casting its shadow upon us. We are just a few days away from the beginning of the blessed month of Ramadan. This is the month to which our beloved Prophet ﷺ would look forward months in advance. And he would pray to Allah to prolong his life so he would witness the month of Ramadan and enjoy the blessings of the month of Ramadan and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during such blessed time, the like of which does not exist. It is a month the like of which does not exist. No month can come even close to the month of Ramadan in terms of its blessings, virtues, merits, and all the mercy of Allah that is showered upon the believers during this month. Due to its significance, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gathered the Sahaba on the last day of the month of Ramadan and gave them an address, a talk, a sermon, highlighting the importance and the important features of the month of Ramadan. On the last day of the month of Sha'ban, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave this khoutbah, gave this talk, gave this sermon to the Sahaba, so they would understand what kind of significant month they are approaching, and they will be starting from tomorrow. Although today is not the last day of the month of Sha'ban, which is the month preceding the month of Ramadan, but it is one of the last days of the month of Sha'ban. And I will not be able to address you on the last day of Sha'ban because it will be a weekday and we will not be able to meet before the month of Ramadan begins. So I would like to take this opportunity and relate to you the same khutbah that Rasulullah delivered to his Sahaba, the same talk that our beloved Prophet gave to his Sahaba, his companions, on the last day of the month of Sha'ban. So you and I can also refresh our memories and remind ourselves and remember that what a significant month lies ahead of us and what should we do during that month so we can earn the maximum potential, the maximum benefit of the month of Ramadan, so we do not lose any moment of this significant and important month of Ramadan. So the hadith is narrated by Salman al-Farisi radiyallahu anhu. He said, خطبنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في آخر يوم من شعبان. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam addressed us on the last day of the month of Sha'ban, and he said, قال يا أيها الناس قد أظلكم شهر عظيم. O people, O mankind, there comes to you a great month. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not use these words for any other month. Shahrun Azim, a month that is great, that is bigger than all other months, that is greater than all other months, that is more important and more significant than all other months. قَدْ أَظَلَّكُمْ شَهْرٌ عَظِيمٌ. O people, a great month is casting its shadow upon you. The word أَظَلَّ comes from the Arabic word zil. And zil literally means shadow. So when the month comes near and becomes closer, then these words are the words that you use, قَدْ أَظَلَّكُمْ, that this month has casted its shadow upon you. And literally, the month of Ramadan is casting its shadow upon us because it's less than 4 days away. So Rasulullah said, قَدْ أَظَلَّكُمْ شَهْرٌ عَظِيمٌ. A great month is casting its shadow upon you. Mubarak. And it is a blessed month. The whole month is blessed. The mornings, the evenings, the days, the nights, all the time in this month is blessed. Whether it's the daytime or nighttime, morning or evening, every moment of this month is blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Mubarak. It's filled with blessings. شهر فيه ليلة خير من ألف شهر. Now Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions the most important feature of the blessed month of Ramadan. A feature that does not exist in any other month. And that is the presence and the existence of Laylatul Qadr in this month. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فيه شهر فيه ليلة خير من ألف شهر. In this month there is a night that is better than 1,000 months. One night is better than 1,000 months. And that is a night of Laylatul Qadr. Because about Laylatul Qadr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala testified, Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alf shahr. That Laylatul Qadr, the night of power, is better than 1,000 months. We'll talk about it in detail, inshallah, after 2 weeks, on the third Friday of the month of Ramadan. But this is a reminder that that night will come in the month of Ramadan. It will not come in Sha'ban, it will not come in Shawwal, it will not even come in Dhul Hijjah or Muharram. It will only occur in the month of Ramadan. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam highlighted that feature, that the Laylatul Qadr will come in Ramadan. Shahrun ja'ala Allahu siyamahu fariida. It is a month in which Allah has made fasting obligatory. Fasting is compulsory upon the believing men and women, adults. It is not compulsory, it is not obligatory upon children. And in Islam, in Sharia, children are those who have not yet reached the age of puberty. Once you hit the age of puberty, then you're considered an adult in the Sharia of Islam. So, children are not obligated to observe the fasting of the month of Ramadan, but adults are. Anyone who's beyond that age must observe the fasting of the month of Ramadan because it is fard. It is a fariḍah, it is compulsory, and it is obligatory. And it is obligatory just as salah is obligatory. We cannot make distinction. Salah is offered 5 times a day, and fasting is observed on every day during the month of Ramadan. Only during the month of Ramadan. Fasting is not obligatory in Sha'ban, in Shawwal, in Dhul Qa'dah, in Dhul Hijjah, or any other month of the year. Only during the month of Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made fasting compulsory upon the adult believing men and women. There are obviously some exemptions that are also presented by the Quran. Those who are sick and cannot observe the fast are exempt from fasting. They can make up for those missed days of fasting at a time when they have healed and when they have recovered. Those who have some other medical problems, medical issues that prevent them from observing the fast, they're also exempt. They can make up for that, for the missed days of fasting later. And then there are other excuses as well that are acceptable in Sharia. Apart from these excuses that are acceptable in Islam, that are acceptable in Sharia, every adult Muslim man and woman must observe the fast during the month of Ramadan, regardless of how long the day may be. We know that the day is going to be very long this summer. Our fasting will begin around 3 o'clock in the morning and will end around 8:30 in the evening. So it's almost a 17.5-hour fast. And it's going to be a long fast. And we must endure it for the sake of Allah. We must not make excuses that are false excuses, that are not legitimate legal excuses in the sight of Allah. If there is a legitimate excuse, Allah will honor it, Allah will accept it, and Allah will exempt you. But if you are just making up excuses, then those excuses will not be honored and will not be accepted. So if your excuse is that I cannot fast because I need to play basketball, that's not an acceptable excuse. If your excuse is that I cannot fast because I need to play football, or I need to get involved in some other sport, or I need to stay out for exercise, and therefore I cannot observe the fast, that is not an acceptable excuse. You can postpone these activities. And if you cannot postpone these activities, you can at least reduce the duration of these activities. If you can only endure to play for 15 minutes while you're fasting, then reduce that play time to 15 minutes instead of spending an hour on that play. Or try to adjust your timings to after iftar. Once you have opened your fast, then obviously you will be allowed to drink, you will be allowed to eat. Then you can play your sports during that time. So if you get thirsty, you can drink water at that time. So these kinds of excuses are not legitimate and acceptable excuses. I gave you the examples of acceptable excuses already. There are more as well, but if you really do think you have an excuse, you should consult a scholar. You should write a question or call a scholar, ask a question, and explain yourself that this is my situation. For example, some people may have a legitimate problem. For example, someone may be required to travel for work during the days of Ramadan. So he might have to travel every day 100 miles or 200 miles. So that is an acceptable excuse. So he can say that I will be traveling every day and it is not easy for me to travel without drinking water for 17 hours. So for such a person, there is rukhsa, there is concession, and there is an exemption. Or similar cases. But for all others who can observe the fast during the month of Ramadan, they must observe the fast during the month of Ramadan. Not doing so will not only be equal to depriving themselves from the blessings of Allah, but also will make them subject to the punishment of Allah for not observing an obligatory ibadah, a compulsory ibadah. This is not an optional ibadah. During the month of Ramadan, fasting becomes obligatory. It does not remain optional and voluntary anymore. So pay attention to that. Adjust your schedule. If you can reduce your work hours, or if you can make adjustments to your daytime schedule somehow in order to make your fasting easier upon yourself, then do so. In Muslim countries, alhamdulillah, people understand that majority of Muslims, if not all of them, will be observing the ibadah of fasting, so they reduce the work time during the day. So they reduce the hours of all the Muslims, all the people. So the fasting becomes lighter and easier upon them. And here, if you can avail yourself to this opportunity to reduce your work time, to give yourself more resting time, then you should do so to make the fasting easier upon yourself, to make the fasting more acceptable to yourself. Next, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that this is a month in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the ibadah, the standing at night, as sunnah. وَقِيَامَ لَيْلِهِ تَطَوَّعًا. At night time, during the month of Ramadan, every day, there is a special prayer that we offer, and that is called Salat al-Tarawih. That is a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it is actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who made it sunnah directly from Himself. So, standing before Allah in salat at night after Salat al-Isha is a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it is offered only during the month of Ramadan, Salat al-Tarawih. and we recite the Quran. This is ibadah, this is a worship that we only offer during the month of Ramadan, and we try to finish one Quran throughout the month. So every day we try to recite 1/30th of the Quran. So by the end of the month, we would have completed one entire Quran, because this is the month of Quran. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. This is the month in which Quran was revealed. So it connects us, it links us to that historic moment in the history of mankind when Quran was revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, alhamdulillah, for every year, almost all of the masajid, not only in America, but all over the Muslim world, and wherever Muslims live, they observe this great ibadah with great joy and with great celebration. Here at Masjid al-Islam as well, we make sure that we provide the service and we have the Salat al-Tarawih every night of the month of Ramadan. And as you know, the night comes before the day in the Islamic calendar. So if the first day of fasting, let's say for example, is Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the first Tarawih will be on Monday night. And if first day of fasting is decided to be on Wednesday, then the first Tarawih, the first Qiyamul Layl will be on Tuesday night. So inshallah, every night we will have Salat al-Tarawih here at Masjid al-Islam after Salat al-Isha, and we encourage all of you to join us. I know it will continue for maybe an hour and a half or maybe a little bit more, because we'll be reciting one juz every night and there will be 20 rak'at. But try to make some sacrifice and try to stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during the blessed nights of the month of Ramadan. And if you cannot stand for all the rak'at all the time, try to make as much as you can. So you can say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, "Oh Allah, I stood before you for as long as I could. I could not do it after a certain time, so I excused myself. But I did remain firm, standing as long as I could stand in salah." So we should also compare our situation with those who have even less time than us. This will give us an opportunity to thank Allah and be grateful for what we have. Alhamdulillah, here we will still have maybe 5-6 hours night between Maghrib and Suhoor. Compare your situation to those who live in northern areas of the continent, those who live near North Pole, those who live in Norway and in northern UK and Sweden and other countries. For them, the night is so short that between Salat al-Isha and Suhoor, they have less than 2 hours. At the most, they will have 2.5 hours. So they cannot even have Salat al-Tarawih, because the time between Isha and Fajr is so little. So be thankful to Allah. There's always someone who's having worse than you. So always try to reflect on that point, that you are not in the worst condition. Plus, it's not like you're going to have this forever. You're not going to have 17 hours fasting forever. Maybe 6 more years, and then we'll be down to April. We'll be down to April and May, and it will be all normal once again. So be thankful to Allah and consider this as an opportunity of your life. Because fasting in one season will come once in 33 years. Who knows whether we will be able to live to witness a fasting season in summer next time. Next time around, we will all be 33 years older. If we live. If we die, we will meet with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. من تقرب فيه بخصلة من الخير كان كمن أدى فريضة فيما سواه. Whoever offers even one voluntary good deed during the month of Ramadan, his reward will be equal to offering a farz good deed, an obligatory good deed. So offering one nafil will be equal to offering one salah that is obligatory. ومن أدى فريضة فيه كان كمن أدى 70 فريضة فيما سواه. And whoever offered one fard during the month of Ramadan, his reward will be equal to offering 17 fard in any other time of the year. So one fard will be equal to 70 fara'id. And if the month of Ramadan is 30 days, there will be 150 prayers that will come. 150 fara'id. And if you multiply that with 70, that comes up to about 10,500. And you know how long it will take you to offer 10,500 obligatory prayers? And obligatory prayers can only be offered 5 times a day. You cannot make it 6, you cannot make it 10, you cannot make it 15, and you cannot make it 4. You can only do it maximum 5. Because this is what Allah has made compulsory upon us. So if you were to offer 10,500 obligatory prayers, it would take you about 2,100 days. And that means almost 6 years of prayers. So the reward of 6 years of obligatory prayers, you will be able to get in 1 month. Isn't that so generous of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He wants to give us the reward of years in weeks and in 1 month? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to practice upon Sunnah Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ameen wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. An important announcement. Tonight we will not have the monthly community dinner, but we will have inshallah our weekly halaqa, weekly hadith halaqa, and this will be the last one before the month of Ramadan inshallah. Then we will resume these halaqas after the Eid inshallah, after Eid al-Fitr. The month of Ramadan is expected to begin on Tuesday, but we will have a confirmed report, a confirmed decision on Monday. On Monday, we will inform you inshallah. You can visit our website. We will update our website as well. And we will update the answering machine, and we will spread the word throughout Rhode Island. On Monday, we will let you know inshallah whether Tuesday will be the first day of Ramadan or Wednesday will be the first day of Ramadan. If Tuesday is the first day of Ramadan, then we will have the first Salatul Taraweeh on Monday night. And if Wednesday is the first day of Ramadan, then Tuesday night will be the first night of Taraweeh. And Taraweeh prayers are always offered after Salatul Isha. And Salatul Isha will be at 10:15 p.m. inshallah. So we invite all of you and we encourage all of you to look forward to welcome the blessed month of Ramadan, and so we can benefit from the blessings of the month of Ramadan.